Hello. Today I thought to make a bigger story. This is all created by me. I'm sorry this took long to get out. Anyways, be sure to subscribe for my efforts. Subscribe, do it now bitch. I'm joking, but hey, leave a comment if you enjoyed it. This story was my unfinished symphony, so I decided to finish it. Okay, sorry. I'm excited, I'm just an excited person. Okay, without further ado, here we go. Should have hidden when the loud sound of hooves and breaking sticks echoed through the thick forest. Or when the loud distinct yells of castle guards shattered the peaceful nature of the trees, scaring all the animals away and putting the entire forest on edge. But the boy was too clueless. He trudged through the undergrowth, dodging the brambles as best as he could as he ventured through the forest. Aaron was looking for anything of which he could use with very little luck. He quickly flinched, recognizing the yells as they became increasingly closer. They sounded angry. The boy assumed they were that of a palace guard. The guards were always obnoxiously loud and annoying for no reason, even in such quiet surroundings when the extra volume was just unneeded. The boy sighed, feeling defeated. He was practically empty-handed, nothing to show for his past couple hours of aimlessly looking through the thick undergrowth. The only thing the boy had collected was some useful firewood and a couple berries he had planned on using to make some sort of pie. The forest was always full of life and different plants, scattered amidst the vast vegetation. However, today the boy had found nothing. Winter was nearing. All the beautiful and useful plants the boy was helplessly searching for were no longer there. He couldn't go back now. But there's nothing here. The boy groaned angrily, kicking a nearby tree stump with much force, causing the boy to screech and fall to the ground in pain, surrounding himself with dead fallen leaves and dirt. There's nothing left until spring. I can't wait that long, I'm already running out. The irritation was prevalent in the boy's voice as it began to waver, both in pain and annoyance. He wanted so badly to just cry, but he couldn't. He couldn't give up. All he needed was one lucky plant. One plant that was still clinging to life to see him through. That's when he heard it. The loud thumping of hooves broke Aaron from his sulk once again, causing the boy to jump. What were the guards doing in the middle of nowhere? Curiously, the boy began to stumble in the direction the hooves were coming from. Eventually forgetting the pulsing pain in his foot, he was heading right to them. The crashing of hooves and loud yelling grew louder and louder until Aaron could see the tops trees in front of him begin to shake and rattle. They were merely seconds away now. Bracing himself for a painful impact, Aaron stood just to the side of where he assumed the soldiers were coming from, minding ever so slightly out of the way so that he wasn't to be trampled. However, just as they were about to come into eyesight of the boy, something knocked him down. He fell into a small hole in the ground which was covered by the stranger, deeming him indetectable, and before he knew it, the guards had ridden off. "Fuck, you really do have a death wish." A deep voice spoke, terrifying the young boy. Aaron shot up into a seating position, as he pushed the boy off of his chest, violently. "What the fuck was that for?" Aaron screeched, breathless from the sheer amount of panic and confusion. The stranger didn't reply. They just stood up quietly, brushing off the dry dirt, moss and leaves from his fancy clothing. "Dumbass." The voice groaned. Aaron shot his head to look up at the man, an angered expression now clearly visible on Aaron's face. The stranger was short, with raven hair and dark clothing. He looked fancy, yet like your average village person, just with newer and more expensive clothing. Definitely not upper class. Aaron, however, had never seen this boy before. "Who are you?" Confusion laced the brunette's words as he asked the question, staring at the shorter boy with a confused expression on his face. The raven didn't even bother looking at Aaron. He was too busy pulling out a map he must have been carrying. "Doesn't matter," the stranger said, opening up said map and placing it down on a fallen tree that was just a few paces to his right. "Where even am I?" It was a rhetorical question. The raven ran his finger along the paper as he turned his back to Aaron. Even if the question wasn't rhetorical, Aaron didn't know quite how to answer it. Where the boy lived didn't have a name. It was just a random bit of land that had no prior occupants. "Well, the castle is like what, a day's trip in that direction," Aaron said, pointing to the east. "And my house is in that direction." Aaron then spun round to point in the opposite direction. The raven quickly looked up, watching what directions Aaron was pointing in. "Wait. I shouldn't have told you where I lived." Aaron froze, realizing the mistake he might have just made. How careless. "What are you even doing out here?" The shorter boy ignored Aaron. "I could ask you the same thing," Aaron retorted sarcastically. "Well, I asked first." A bit of annoyance laced the raven's words as he was quickly becoming more and more irritated. Well, I was looking for some mushrooms," Aaron replied truthfully. The stranger just smirked. You won't find any this time of year. Aaron pouted. Yeah, I know, but I was hoping there might be a lucky mushroom or two. You're delusional. Aaron furrowed his brows at the stranger. Well, why were you running from the palace guards, oh so mighty one? The raven had a devious smirk on his face. Does the name Levi Ackerman ring any bells? Aaron just stood in confusion. No, he said slowly, looking at the raven blankly. Was it supposed to? The stranger rolled their eyes. I tried blowing up the castle, idiot. Tried, oh so you failed. Aaron laughed, causing an annoyed expression once again reside on the stranger's face. I got ratted out. The raven began. Anyways, I'd like to see you do any better. It was now Aaron's turn to smirk. Oh, I will. The raven raised a confused brow at this comment made by the brunette. What do you mean by I will? I can't just tell you. I don't want to get ratted out like you did. I'm good at keeping secrets. Aaron mocked the raven, turning his back to the boy as he was about to walk off. That's when he heard the boy, Levi, pounce, and before he knew it, Aaron had a cold knife pressed sharply against his throat, just above the skin so it didn't slice the skin just yet. Would you care to explain? The shorter boy's voice was cold, terrifying, and completely different to what it was like merely seconds before. Put the knife away. Aaron squeaked, feeling the raven bringing the sharp blade closer to his neck. The cold metal was only millimeters from slicing open Aaron's airwaves and killing the boy right there and then. Care to explain? The raven said again, however this time much slower, drawing out each word. Fuck off. Was all Aaron could muster when Levi became even more frustrated, ever so slightly pressing more pressure on the boy's throat, causing him more issues with breathing. Fine. He muttered. I'm trying to make something that will help me infiltrate the queens. These thing is. Levi pushed, wanting more answers. I don't know how to explain it. The knife was brought even closer, slicing open the first layer of skin on the boy's throat. There was no blood, but if the knife was brought any closer at all, Aaron would be dead. Invisibility. That's one of them. Aaron shouted desperately, his voice shaking, and he became increasingly more scared of the raven. Elaborate. Well, I've been working on invisibility. Depending on the dose, it can last up to 8 minutes. If perfected, it can give some time to break in and cause some damage before anyone notices. Aaron closed his eyes firmly, his heart pounding in his chest. I've got strength too. Something that provides extra strength. Levi lowered his knife ever so slightly, bringing his mouth up to the other boy's ear and whispering, "You're not that good at keeping secrets now, are you?" The feeling of the other's hot breath caused a shivering sensation to go down the brunette's spine, as Levi sat smugly, looking down at the younger boy, before jumping up to his feet and heading in the direction of Aaron's house. Hey, wait, don't go that way. Aaron yelled, jumping up to his feet and easily catching up to the raven, shaking his shoulder and trying to turn him around. Levi was quick to react, violently throwing Aaron against a tree, using his arm to cover the other's mouth and also nose accidentally, making it so the counter couldn't breathe. Aaron was in shock, not realizing his lack of oxygen. Quiet. The familiar noise of the castle guards could be heard once again, however this time they sounded like they must have been on foot. Meaning they must have been checking the bushes and surrounding areas. Aaron could feel Levi going tense as he listened in on the guards' conversation. Where could he have gone? We had him just a few minutes ago. One of the guards huffed angrily. I don't know, he's gotta be here somewhere. The other guard replied. Shit. Levi mumbled, still holding his hand harshly over the other's mouth. Aaron tried to speak, but it came out nothing more of a muffled noise. They're going to find us. Levi hissed angrily, his nose twitching. How far is your house? He questioned, removing his hand and allowing the other boy to dramatically gasp for air. I'm not helping you. Aaron hissed, trying to push the other boy off with little to no luck. Levi just grabbed his knife once again, bringing it close to the other boy before saying coldly, Sure, if you don't, I'll just kill you. His voice was quiet and menacing. We could probably make it in like 5 minutes if we run. Aaron said suddenly, now his voice hinting towards the fact that he was scared. They'll hear us. The raven looked increasingly more worried, still holding his knife firmly pointed at Aaron. I'll be able to hide you. Aaron offered now, just wanting the knife away from him, but Levi shook his head. They'll just break in and find me. It's no use. Aaron shook his head, smirking slightly. Just trust me, I've got you covered. Aaron sounded pretty confident, causing Levi to loosen his grip and let the boy go. Just make sure you keep up, I'll lead the way. Levi nodded at the brunette's words as Aaron held his hand out for the other to take. Levi grabbed Aaron's hand harshly, allowing the other to pull him away from their original position, and that's when they started running. Now this was the real beginning. The guards had definitely heard the two because they began yelling. There they are. The larger guard pointed out before running after the two boys but being held back by the thick vegetation that Aaron was able to skillfully dodge. Aaron and Levi already had a lead due to this, and before they knew it, the pair were already out of sight of the guards. They sprinted through the uneven woods, jumping over a few fallen trees and dodging multiple holes in the ground. The pair's hands were still tightly clasped together. Aaron was running in front, leading the way and pulling the shorter boy along, while Levi followed Aaron's hand, trying his best to keep up. "I thought you were good at running away from the law," Aaron said sarcastically, pointing out the fact that Levi was relatively slower than he had expected. "Fuck off," was all Levi, with a slight smile, was able to say in protest when Aaron harshly yanked his arm, in order to dodge an incoming tree. "Hey, isn't your house that way?" Levi asked in confusion as Aaron changed the direction they were running. "Just trust me, that's the first place they'd check." At this point, the forest was thinning out, and just in front of them was quite a large field that had a flowing river going through it. "Are you sure this is the right way?" Levi sounded pretty out of breath and reluctant to run into the open field. "We just have to make it to that hill and we're good." Aaron pointed to a hill just at the bottom of the field. It was just a hill. Levi didn't know what the boy had planned, but there was nowhere to hide. However, this was Levi's last hope. He had no choice but to trust the brunette at the current moment. Before they knew it, the pair had reached the river. However, it was too large to simply jump over. "Fuck," Aaron hissed, stopping for a second, but Levi didn't hesitate. Still holding the younger's hand, he jumped into the water, dragging Aaron with him. The river only went up to just below Levi's knees, so it wasn't that deep, but it completely soaked both boys through. "I guess that's one way to do it," Aaron giggled, watching Levi climb out of the river and hold out a hand for him to take, which he reluctantly did once again. The guards were still pretty far away, so Aaron had time to run to one of the trees near the hill. Levi followed him curiously when Aaron removed some of the leaves, revealing a lever. "Oh fuck." Levi's eyes went wide as he looked at the smirking boy in shock. "Yeah, oh fuck." Aaron pulled the lever, running over to the side of the hill where a doorway had emerged. The stone bulged to the side, making a creaking noise. "Come in." Levi was speechless. What were the odds of the random boy he just somehow ran into in the woods had some mysterious secret base? The interior was pretty nice. It was well lit and nicely decorated, but most of all, it was safe. Levi was extremely out of breath from all the running, and just slid on his back down to the wall right beside the door, collapsing in exhaustion. Aaron made his way to a button that was placed in the middle of the table and pressed it, causing the little doorway to close, completely enclosing both boys into the bunker. There was no way the guards were going to find them here, that's for sure. "And I live another day." Aaron let out a relieved sigh, sitting down on a bench in the middle of the room, looking over at Levi's direction. "You owe me."